Hello everybody. Sorry for the nearly 4-year-long delay, but we're finally continuing our Mega Man franchise retrospective series. We actually had this video recorded sometime in early 2018, and it was supposed to be part 4 of our Mega Man 30th anniversary special, but shortly after the recording, the computer I was using for editing just completely died and I lost the project files. Due to the Battle Network kick I've been back on recently, I thought now would be a good time to revive the project. So without any further ado, I hope you all enjoy this brief overview of the Mega Man Battle Network series. Year 20XX. The internet has evolved into a full-blown society for humankind and their net navigators, or NetNavi for short. Each NetNavi is operated by a human via PET, or personal terminal. So this time, Mega Man isn't a robot, but an AI program in a cybernetic society.
So, Mega Man exists in a digital plane and draws his power from a human handler, and has a digital apparatus that lets him connect to his operator?
In a nutshell, yes.
Okay, now they're just ripping off Digimon.
Well, Mega Man's trademark ability is copying things.
Fair enough.
In this universe, however, Mega Man doesn't exactly copy his opponent's weapons, but instead, he and other Navis use battle chips, which are temporary weapons that their operators install in the middle of a fight.
That's blatantly ripping off the Digimodify cards from Digimon Tamers.
Actually, the first Battle Network game came out before Tamers did.
What? They came out within less than 2 weeks of each other? Alright, someone was sharing secrets between these two. These similarities can't just be coincidence.
Anyways, our two main protagonists are Lan Hikari and Mega Man.exe.
So he's a dark, corrupted version of Mega Man who bleeds from the eyes and has a Kefka laugh?
No.
This series continues the Mega Man tradition of having a gimmicky name scheme. Lan and his twin brother, Hub, are puns on the internet, with the Lan being a wordplay for local area network. We also have Dex, or Index. Mail is an email, and Lan and Hub's Japanese names are Neto and Saito, which would be Net and Sight.
We also have a few other characters with some name references as well. Colonel, Iris, and Kane all make an appearance, a throwback to the Mega Man X series, and Yai's name is a reference to the little girl Yaito from Mega Man Legends 2. Same for her Navi Glide and the late series character named Barrel. You okay, man?
I'm fine.
Okay. Anyways, there are plenty of other homages as well, like the Data and Tron Bond dolls found in Mail's room all throughout the different games in the series. And we also have...
Damn it, Capcom! Why would you cancel Legends 3? It was going to be on the 3DS. It would had to have been a better port than the PSP versions, because, I mean, they were just laggy messes. It was the whole reason Even though these characters share names with characters from other Mega Man games, each one has a redesign, most of the time becoming more sleek looking, and for some of the characters, they actually look more human.
For most of the bosses, especially in the early games, you could make an educated guess as to who it was based on, as the EXE counterparts shared most of the similar attributes to their Robot Master predecessors. Fireman still has flamethrowers for hands, Quickman is still red and gold with boomerang motifs, and Airman still has a giant fan in his stomach, and Cutman, he barely changed at all.
And then we have some characters whose designs got a complete overhaul, like Stone Man and Search Man. Metal Man looks like he's been taking steroids, and Proto Man is just cosplaying Zero.
But there's also no shortage of original Navis in this series. We have newcomers such as Gridman, Larkman, Kendoman, Sharkman, and my favorite newcomer, Laserman.
Believe it or not, we even get a gender bend in this series. In the spin-off game, Battle Chip Challenge, we meet Ring, who would be the counterpart to the classic Mega Man's Ring Man.
We could go on for hours about the new characters and redesigns, but we won't. So, as mentioned before, this is an RPG, but it's a unique one. It's not turn-based, nor is it a tactical RPG like Fire Emblem.
You switch back and forth between Lan, the human operator, and Mega Man, or whatever Navi you happen to be controlling, and effectively switch back and forth between the real world and the digital world.
It's Cyber World, actually.
Potato, potato.
While in the Cyber World, you can have random encounters, and you can fight computer viruses as well as other Navis, and you fight them using battle chips. Mega Man's base form is pretty weak on its own, but there are power-ups you find throughout the games.
In terms of game mechanics changing in between games, the Battle Network series undergoes the most changes compared to the other series. This keeps each game fresh, and most of the time at least attempts to iron over flaws of the previous installments.
In Battle Network 1, Mega Man has an armor change mechanic, but it doesn't actually change his physical appearance. All it does is give him higher defense and certain elemental attributes. In the second game, style change is brought in, which reflects the player's fighting style, and Mega Man adapts to how you play the game, giving him a new element and new features based on what style class you get, and giving him super armor and a stronger buster, or the ability to carry 7 Navi chips in your folder instead of just the usual 5.
Battle Network 3 changed the game again by introducing the Navi customizer as well as making different chip classes. Mega and Giga chips were introduced, and Mega chips were usually Navi chips and other strong battle chips, while Giga chips are the most powerful ones in the game. Your folder is limited to 5 Mega chips, no duplicates, and 1 Giga chip, and the rest have to all be standard.
This kept the game balanced and prevented the player from having an extremely overpowered folder without some clever planning, such as having 5 Zeus hammers in one folder in Battle Network 2.
Battle Network 3 also decided to pull a Pokemon by releasing 2 versions of the same game, blue version and white version. Both games were mostly the same with a few differences here and there, mostly aesthetics, such as a color palette in certain areas. Each game has 1 or 2 unique bosses, a few unique chips, and 1 unique style change.
With so few differences in between versions, why even bother making 2 different versions? Just give us one big complete package.
You want to tell that to Pokemon Red and Blue?
No.
Don't worry though, with Battle Network 4 they justified the 2 versions by making both games almost entirely different in some places. In both games, Lan and Mega Man are entering tournaments throughout the entire story, and because of the new armor change ability called Double Soul, you fight different characters and have completely different scenarios in both games.
The Double Soul ability lets Mega Man copy the form of a Navi he's formed a close enough bond with. This is a pretty neat idea and a cool take on the overused cliche of a hero drawing power from his friends. But they could have incorporated it a little more cleverly by giving us a side quest or 2 and letting us find the last 1 or 2 souls on our own, instead of them just being given to us as part of the story.
In addition to the Double Soul, another new feature in Battle Network 4 is Dark Chips. Battle chips tainted by darkness that corrupt the user. So if you like to play the evil character, you can turn Mega Man evil. Too bad that doesn't affect the storyline.
Battle Network 5 will go on to improve upon the Dark Chip mechanic, making them actual battle chips you find, rather than just having them show up in your folder when the fight gets tough. And as with Battle Network 4, 5 gives you 2 different versions with completely different casts, Team Proto-Man and Team Colonel.
Then we have the conclusion, Battle Network 6, Psybeast Gregor and Psybeast Falzar. The Double Soul was replaced with the Cross system. The difference is that while the Double Soul required you to sacrifice a chip of the corresponding element to use the Double Soul, and had a time limit, the Cross system lets you select the mode change at will and does not have a time limit.
Now this could be good or bad depending on your fighting style. A couple of new features that were introduced in Battle Network 4 were the emotion window and full synchro, which doubles your next chip's attack power. But while using a solar cross, you can't use full synchro. And the only way to exit a cross is to be hit by the opposite element, which does double damage, or by using Beast Out and letting Mega Man run out of emotion points, and then Mega Man enters the tired state. So basically, after you activate a cross, you can't use full synchro for the rest of the fight unless you take a really heavy hit first.
However, the Beast Out function helps balance things out. You can still use full synchro while in Beast Out, as long as the cross isn't active, and it makes Mega Man lock onto the nearest enemy for a rushing attack.
Now let's talk about the story. In the first game, Lan and Mega Man are simple grade schoolers just minding their own business. Whenever their friends are in danger, they rush to the rescue and defeat whoever's causing the problems. The main antagonists are a group of criminals called World 3, led by, of course, Dr. Wily.
Does this mean we see Base and Zero in this series?
Base, yes, but Zero only in the spin-off game, but we'll cover that one later.
So, most of the characters are recognizable enough. You have a lot of the iconic Mega Man bosses like Fireman, Iceman, Electman, Bombman, but this time Gutsman is Mega Man's best friend, and Rolus's girlfriend instead of his sister.
That's only slightly awkward. Moving on, Wily's goal is to delete the entire internet by using a super powerful virus known as the Life Virus. He's angry at the world because they decided to abandon robotics for a more computer-driven society. Everything is plugged into the internet in this timeline.
Looks like Mega Man predicted the future.
The story is your pretty standard RPG stuff. You're just an average person, you get wrapped up in something greater than yourself, and you end up having to save the world. It's at the end when the game gets a little bit weird.
Right before the final boss, Mega Man is almost completely deleted after being shot by data from the Life Virus. His physical form is still there, but Mega Man won't respond. Lan's father, the creator of the NetNavi, tells Lan that the only way to revive him is to install the hub.bat program, which will make their DNA 100% the same?
Yeah, remember back when we mentioned Lan's twin brother? It turns out that Lan didn't even know he had a twin brother until this very moment. Hub died when they were both very young, and unable to let go, Dr. Hikari saved Hub's life by turning him into Mega Man.
Again with the Astro Boy ripoffs?
But instead of making him a robot, he digitized Hub's DNA and implanted his soul into a computer program.
And we've seen that done in countless other forms of media.
But that's beside the point. Dr. Hikari then tells Lan that if he uses this program, then Mega Man will be revived, but now, any damage done to Mega Man will also happen to Lan. Okay, so this justifies why Mega Man can't be regenerated from backup data like every other Navi in the series.
He should be glad this isn't the manga. I mean, look at some of this. Impalements, severed limbs, blown in half. Lan would be dead 20 times over if they used this program in this version.
Yes, the manga is excellent, but we're getting off topic here.
Okay, so Mega Man and Lan, now more in sync with each other, defeat the life virus and escape World 3's fortress, and Wily stays behind and is presumed dead.
But if Mega Man and Red vs. Blue has taught me anything, a character is never really dead unless we watch them die. And even then, sometimes they're not dead.
Battle Network 2 has a new group of antagonists known as Gospel, which was the Japanese name of Base's dog, Treble. This organization is similar to World 3 in that they're doing the same things, traveling the world, stealing super powerful programs, and committing acts of net terrorism.
This time, Base actually appears as part of the story, but not until the very end. And even then, it's only a copy of Base, so he's easily dispatched. The final boss of this game is a giant multi-bug organism that takes the form of a virus wolf, and thus is dubbed the Gospel Virus Beast. However, the beast causes the radiation given off by all the servers in Gospel headquarters to rise to such levels that it renders Gospel's leader and Lan unconscious. Mega Man activates his heart program, meaning that Lan can operate him through sheer willpower alone, showing again that they have a bond deeper than any other human in Navi.
As mentioned earlier, this game introduces style change, and the most powerful style available is called Hub Style, in which Mega Man and Lan's synchronization rate is through the roof, making them extremely formidable, and taking advantage of the plot thread from the end of the first game. It has all the advantages of every other style class, but it's neutral elemented, so that means no advantages or disadvantages based on element. And another drawback is that it halves Mega Man's current max HP.
The Lan and Hub symbiosis would continue to be explored, or more accurately, exploited, throughout the rest of the series. Except for Battle Network 4, they don't really use it there. And they only use it a few times in 5 and 6, but Hub actually does become a plot device in Battle Network 3, where Lan has to save this little kid, Mamoru.
Let's back up a minute. Battle Network 3 blue and white versions have a revived World 3, and Wily is alive, of course.
This time, pretty much the same basic plot, but it's Tetra codes instead of ultimate programs.
However, Lan and Mega Man are also participating in the N1 Grand Prix as part of the story. This lets them meet some of the stronger Navis in the series, such as Kingman.
Going back to Mamoru, this character has the same heart condition that claimed Hub's life when he was young, and Lan convinces Mamoru to have this operation that can cure him. Annette and her net Navi, Plant Man, think the Net Society is destroying nature, and that there's a Tetra code inside the hospital's computer. So World 3 attacks the hospital in the middle of the operation.
Wait. This little kid is having a hit-or-miss operation in which one mistake will cost him his life, and this tree hugger doesn't care if he lives or dies?
In a nutshell, yeah.
Okay, Wily, even for you, that's a little up.
So this makes Hub relevant to the plot again, giving Lan and Mega Man a much stronger motivation to save Mamoru. Mamoru wakes up, the operation a success, and he says that he saw a person who looked like Lan but was surrounded in a blue light, telling him to never give up, and that gave him the motivation to pull through.
That's sweet, if not a bit campy, but what are the Tetra codes? Why are they so important?
Oh, it's because they're the keys to the gates that are sealing away this monster known as Alpha.
As for what Alpha actually is and why it exists, that's kind of confusing. To put simply, it's the prototype of the cyber world, and the core of Alpha was an AI program that would link together all of Net Society. However, because it was imperfect, all devices linked to Alpha started to malfunction and the program mutated, becoming a semi-sentient monster that would devour the cyber world.
And Wily plans to unleash it, destroying the internet once and for all. Oh, and look, Base is back, and this time he actually plays a real part in the plot. So after we fight our way through World 3's Navis a second time, Lan uses Wily's pulse transmission machine, which sends his mind into the cyber world.
The Matrix did it.
But this isn't nearly the first time we've seen a human mind going inside a computer. Anyways, after another fight with Base, Alpha starts to awaken, swallowing Base and Wily in the process, and we finally get to see Alpha itself, who...
Oh, come on, that is totally ripped from Digimon Tamers.
Huh?
A big red goo monster that either absorbs or deletes everything it touches with big weird fins on its head? It's the friggin' D-Reaper!
I got nothing for that. Capcom, you want to explain?
Overlooking the plagiarism, after defeating Alpha, they find a doorway that leads into the deepest part of Alpha itself. Lan and Mega Man enter it and find an image file of the past, kinda like a save state on an emulator. They meet Lan's grandfather, who looks like the original Dr. Light, or maybe Santa Claus, and they still have to escape Alpha before it collapses. They can't simply jack out, so they have to go back to where Lan first pulsed in.
I smell hijinks.
So, as predicted, their escape isn't that smooth. Lan and Mega Man are absorbed by Alpha, and Mega Man sacrifices himself to force Lan out of the cyber world. Lan is sad, and decides not to replace Mega Man.
Fast forward several months, and Lan is moving up to the 6th grade, where the students have to have a Navi, so Dr. Ikari is giving Lan a new one. When Lan wakes up, it turns out that Dr. Ikari actually found Mega Man's data and rebuilt him, putting him back in Lan's PET.
Sometime later, Battle Network 4, Red Sun, and Blue Moon take place. We keep cutting back and forth from a space observatory called Naxa and back to Lan's story.
This time, the plot is that giant meteor is heading towards Earth, and it's up to us to either destroy it with a giant laser cannon or to... Wait a minute, haven't we seen this before?
Yes, but instead of using a shuttle if the laser fails, they decide to send a Navi into the asteroid cyberworld to change its course, making it miss Earth. So, of course, they decide to tell the governments of the Earth and allow them to pool their resources to create a super powerful, unstoppable Navi who can survive the treacherous, or they keep it secret from everyone, and just hold a tournament that anyone can enter, and take the winner and send him into space.
Because we have to have some way of shoehorning Mega Man in the grand scheme of things.
You think Lan ever gets tired of saving the world? Every time a new crisis shows up, he thinks to himself, I've already done this more times than I can count. Why do they keep trying?
So that's the main story of Battle Network 4, but the rest of the story is about this new enemy group called the Dark Chip Syndicate Nebula. They're coming to power and they're spreading chaos all throughout the cyberworld using dark chips. The rest of the story is Lan competing in other tournaments that aren't linked to the asteroid incident or Nebula at all. So pretty much 80% of this game's story is just filler.
But at least the game is fun. This was the first game to adopt a new sprite style. Everything looks brighter and the sprites are a bit smaller, but that allows more to be on the screen at once. And even though the majority of the story has nothing to do with the giant meteor, there are numerous possible opponents and countless story threads following through each tournament.
So many, in fact, that it's impossible to get them all in one playthrough.
Oh, so it's one of those games.
Yeah. You have to play through the game a minimum of 3 times to get everything, and that's just for each version that you own. If you link up the games, then you can send your exclusive navis to the other version, which will allow you to play the storylines that were unique to the opposite version of that game. So that means you could fight Gutsman in Blue Moon version, or Proto Man in Red Sun.
So they took the 2 most recurring characters besides Base and made them version exclusives?
Yeah, pretty much. To sum up the rest of the relevant plot, Lan encounters a vampire Navi known as Shademan, who drops a dark chip. Later they fight Shademan in an amusement park inside a vampire robot that's telling the story of Solar Boy Django.
Insert gratuitous cameo here.
Mega Man defeats Shademan and later enters the Red Sun or Blue Moon tournament, depending on your version. And after winning, he's brought to Naxa and he's given the explanation of what's happening.
But of course, the Nebula strikes, and Naxa decides that since Lan and Mega Man are apparently the strongest Navian operator in the world, they should keep them safe and send someone else to solve this distraction. Or Lan and Mega Man go, waste a bunch of time, and almost get deleted, allowing the true enemy, Dr. Regal and his Navi Laserman, to hijack the asteroid.
If you couldn't tell by looking at this guy that he was the villain, you might need to get some glasses. Nobody in these kind of settings has a robotic guy or a fancy monocle like that and isn't at least somewhat bad.
Lan and Mega Man return to find Regal being evil, and they jack into the asteroid as well, chasing after Laserman. After the fight, Regal says that the plan originally called for Laserman to stop the meteor, but Lan and Mega Man, being our perfect protagonists, decide to take it on themselves. They meet Duo, a throwback to Mega Man 8, and after defeating him, they try to turn the giant steering wheel to divert the asteroid's course, but aren't strong enough.
And after all the people of Earth decided to start cheering for Mega Man, that gives him the power and determination to change the asteroid's course.
Doesn't Mega Man know that he could have used the energy to make this spirit bomb and just blow up the asteroid? They seem to pick up on that trick at least.
So Mega Man and Lan are victorious, and Dr. Regal reveals that his father used to be a brilliant robotics expert, because evil is hereditary, I suppose. He then jumps off the building, not wanting to be taken to jail, and since we never find his body, we know he's not really dead, but they don't really explain how he survived that fall.
So, of course, he's back in Battle Network 5, Team Proto Man and Team Colonel. And if he didn't look evil enough before, just look at him now.
Even if he is over the top and almost cartoony with how evil he's trying to appear, at least he is a more competent villain than Dr. Wily. He wastes no time going after Lan and his friends directly, kidnapping Dr. Ikari, stealing the PETs that contain Gutsman, Roll, and Glide.
Jesus, he really stepped up the game. Too bad Lan was in the next room over after getting hit with sleeping gas, and they were too lazy to do a full room search. Otherwise, he might have actually won.
Mega Man and Lan decide that they're not going to take this lying down, and join up with Shad or Barrel, the operators of Proto Man and Colonel, respectively, depending on the version, and they take the fight to the Nebula, who has started taking over areas of the cyberworld and tainted them with darkness.
Oh, and Shademan's back. Why don't we just call Solar Boy Django and have him use his solar powers to... I was joking!
In terms of story, Battle Network 5 is one of the best because it actually treats Lan and Mega Man like the formidable heroes they are. Every other time, people are trying to stop them, telling them, oh, it's too dangerous, even though they've saved the world multiple times.
But now it's personal, and the entire game is them going after Nebula. Although sometimes taking a detour to recruit some new team members, which gives us multiple playable characters.
In addition to Mega Man, we get both team leaders, and we also get Magnum Man, Gyro Man, Napalm Man, Search Man, and Medi for Team Proto Man. And we also get Nightman, Shadow Man, Tomahawk Man, Number Man, and Toad Man for Team Colonel.
More than half of these are returning characters from a previous game, so we get to see what they're really capable of.
And about halfway in, Mega Man gets captured and turned evil, because cliché plot is still fun.
I'm not complaining. We get to spend a good segment of the game playing mainly as Proto Man, but we have to rescue the poster boy. But if Hub.Bad is still a thing, why didn't Land turn evil?
I don't know.
So after removing the darkness within him, Mega Man gains the ability to use dark chips with double souls, called Chaos Unison, in which his charge shot becomes a dark chip with no negative side effects.
The game continues on with us smashing everything that the Nebula is trying to do. Regal's plot this time is to make the entire world evil by using a special wavelength frequency that will awaken their true selves, which causes some people to become more aggressive or overly violent, while others get very sad and depressed.
While that's not quite as grandiose as an asteroid, that's still diabolical. Turn everyone against each other and let them eliminate any resistance.
We find our way to the Nebula base, which is inside a volcano because that's original, and Dr. Regal reveals that apparently dark chips were made by digitizing the evil within a human soul.
Because we needed another instance of a human soul being digitized to make Hub seem like less of a Deus Ex Machina. After defeating the final boss, Nebula Gray, Regal tries to tank Mega Man with darkness, but he starts glowing blue and looks just like Land. So this is Hub's true form. It's exactly how Mamoru describes his dream in Battle Network 3.
So Hub apparently is not only a cyber ghost that lives within Mega Man, but he's a real ghost who can haunt people's dreams.
This is getting a bit too trippy.
So they defeat Dr. Regal, and the ending you get will depend on which version of the game you have. Not going to say what happens, but play Team Colonel for a more solid conclusion.
And this brings us to the final Battle Network game in the story. Battle Network 6, Psybeast Gregor and Psybeast Falzar. Our story opens with Lan and Mega Man having to move towns, and thus we're given a new cast of supporting characters.
A little late in the game to try to invest in this new cast of characters when we've had 5+ games with this other cast.
I guess this is their way of keeping things fresh, and guess who's back again?
Does he look like Albert Einstein going bald and have an obsession with skulls?
Of course.
Wily just doesn't know when to quit. Yes, folks, World 3 is back again. But this time, their plan may be the most dangerous yet.
A little backstory on the Psybeast. Gregor was created the same way as Gospel from Battle Network 2, by fusing several powerful viruses together, except that it happened naturally, meaning that Gregor would be much more savage and operating purely on instinct.
So that basically means he's Gospel 2.0.
And Falzar was created to delete Gregor. However, the battle got so out of hand that they couldn't stop either Psybeast, and they decided to seal them away in the underground. So if the Undernet is the deep web embodied, this is like the deep web of the deep web.
Super powerful program created to delete this unstoppable virus, but it was too strong to control? That's why they didn't try to do that to stop the meteor back in Battle Network 4.
Seems like they actually learned from their mistakes.
Wally's plan is to capture the Psybeasts and use them to destroy the world. But depending on which version of the game you have, World 3 will capture the opposite Psybeast, and Mega Man absorbs the other one to prevent it from going wild.
We see the return of some more playable characters, Heat Man, Elect Man, and Aquaman, now going by Spout Man, all make an appearance, and we get several new faces as well, like Erase Man and Charge Man.
We bring this up because whenever Mega Man is out of commission, or the Psybeast inside him is going crazy, you have to use one of the other Navis to track him down.
It turns out that the mayor of Land's new hometown, Mayor Kane, is in cahoots with World 3, as is Beryl. So now, Colonel is our enemy. Iris also makes an appearance, and she helps us out at various points in the story.
So it's later revealed that World 3's plan is to bring the Psybeasts into the human world using what's known as a copybot. Basically, you jack your Navi into it, and they come into the real world. So they plan to unleash the Psybeasts, letting them destroy everything. And since normal copybots don't allow the Navis to use battle chips, then no other copybots could be used to stop them.
That's actually pretty ingenious. The final battle takes place inside the copybot of each respective Psybeast. The one that was captured by World 3 will start to react to Mega Man, causing his Psybeast to manifest and take control of the other copybot. So, Colonel, now having a change of heart, teams up with his sister Iris, who is actually a Navi who looks just like a human, and they fight one Psybeast while Lan deals with the other. The fight ends with both Psybeasts destroyed, but Colonel and Iris had to sacrifice themselves to save Mega Man.
Because of course we can't give our fallen heroes some redemption. We have to give them a sad ending.
The game and series concludes with Lan having a narrative of the future. 20 years later, how he and Mel got married and had a son named Patch. Dex became the mayor of AC/DC Town. Guy took over her father's company, and Chad became a worldwide official net battler, hunting cybercriminals all across the globe.
And that's the end of the Battle Network series. There's a lot more we didn't touch on in terms of more in-depth story elements, character analysis, and more in-depth game mechanics, but there's just so much to talk about we couldn't get it all done in one video.
So if you want to see those, we highly recommend you try these games out for yourself. As for what we're doing next, I believe we're going on to the sequel to the Mega Man Battle Network series, also known as Mega Man Star Force.
Look forward to it.